Hi friends, Zoe here, and today I'm really excited to talk to you because it's another episode of Ask Zoe. So today's question was asked to me a little while ago, and I'm sorry it's taken me so long to prepare this video just with my vacation that recently happened and things like that. But today I'm going to be talking to you about how to declutter your social media accounts. I have 5 tips for this, mostly around my personal experience, but hopefully it can grant you some insights on the situation as well. So tip number 1 is to decide which platforms you want to keep around and which ones you don't. So personally, I am on YouTube, as you guys know, so that's a platform for me. I also really like Snapchat, Instagram, and Facebook, which I'm going to link below if you guys want to follow me on there. I also dabble in the Twitter pool. I'm not so active on Twitter, so any of you guys who have reached out to me on Twitter, you might notice like my delays might be a couple of days. I just don't really use that platform as often. So if you do have questions for me, it's probably best that you ask them below on a video or DM me on Instagram. That's probably the best way to reach me. So decide which ones you want to keep around. The truth is they're developing new apps and new platforms every single day. It's hard to keep up with things like Periscope, Meerkat. There always seems to be something new. So decide which ones that you personally enjoy and then stick with those. So for example, I'd say my favorite app is Instagram because I love photos, I love photography, and I love sharing. And I also love Snapchat because I find that I'm not a good texter, but I can Snapchat friends when I'm thinking of them or saw something that reminded me of them. So don't feel overwhelmed about the fact that you need to have every new app. Just pick the ones that you personally like and then rid yourself of the rest. Tip number 2 is to decide which platforms you want to keep public and which ones you want to keep private. So this is really important because your privacy does matter. I personally have chosen YouTube, Twitter, Snapchat, and Instagram as my public platforms. So this means that anyone can kind of add and follow or see what's going on any of these platforms as mine. But Facebook, my personal Facebook account, is private. And that is because I don't want an excessive amount of people on there, which I'll get to in a second, but I really value that I have one platform that I can really control the privacy settings and that I am using for keeping in contact with family who live, in places like Denmark or friends that I met around the world. So decide which ones you want to keep public and which ones you want to keep private and then work from there. Tip number 3 is to filter through the people on these platforms. So if you have a public account, anybody can follow you and that's fine. But for your private accounts like Facebook, I really value that I only have a small amount of friends on there. So previously in the past, I had a Facebook account from when Facebook first started. I think I was in grade 10 or something like that, and I started a Facebook account, uploading albums of me on cheerleading trips and like me and my friends and the first couple of parties we went to, adding everybody and anyone that we knew. And I finally just started to recognize that I felt like my Facebook account was out of my control because I noticed I had over 1,000 friends and I had all of these pictures from my teenage days that were on Facebook, and I just, I'm looking for a job, I'm being more of an adult now, so I didn't want those pictures to be around and things like that. So I know you can hide albums, but I felt like I was constantly sifting through like over 1,000 friends, and somebody's birthday would pop up, somebody who I didn't even know, and I was like, do I wish them a happy birthday? Like, I don't even know this person, how are they on my Facebook? So I decided to delete my old Facebook account, and then about a year and a half ago I created a new Facebook account. So my new Facebook account is very private, and I only add people who are my close friends or who are, say, family that don't live near me or friends that don't live near me. So my reasoning behind this is that it's nice to have one platform that is my own, that is private, that I feel like if one day, I have a wedding or I have children and I wanted to upload a photo, I'm not worrying about thousands of people seeing it if I didn't want that. I just want my close friends and family on there. So when I went through the process of re-adding people to this new account, or when people would friend request me, sometimes I just won't accept, because if it's not somebody that I haven't spoken to in about 6 months, somebody from elementary school or high school who I don't have a relationship now, I don't really see the need to have them on Facebook. I have other platforms that are public that people can follow me on. I just think like Facebook, I only want my closest people there, people who I will probably reach out to again and will talk to on a regular basis. And I like to use this tip that my friend Michelle gave to me when I began sifting through my Facebook friends. She said, go through your friends and each individual person, ask yourself the question, if I ran into them in the mall, would I want to go grab a coffee with them? And if it was just a hi, like how are you, I mean, you probably don't need to have them on Facebook, you guys are acquaintances, but if it's somebody who you wanted to catch up with and grab coffee with sometime, then keep them as a friend or add them as a friend. The truth is, it can be a little bit overwhelming when you have thousands of people on Facebook, and I think that now we're in such a digital age, it is important to have some type of privacy in your life. So this is just something that I did, and I hope those tips help you. Tip number 4 is to delete a platform you have addictive tendencies to. So for example, when I was in university and I had a paper to write, I would often procrastinate on Facebook. So I would go to Facebook and I would delete or deactivate my account until my paper was completed or until my exam had been written. Because the truth is, I know that we all have these types of procrastinating tendencies, and I know we're all put in situations where we're under pressure, but social media is not the place to just chill out and spend your time, because before you know it, you're going to be spending half an hour, and then all of a sudden you've wasted all of this valuable time that you really need in that moment. So I found it helpful to delete platforms like Facebook or deactivate them when I was in a situation where I just needed to focus on my current situation, what I was doing, and how to do well at my job. My last tip is tip number 5, and this one really helps me declutter my mind of social media, and that is to shut off all screens by 9 p.m. each night. Sometimes I try to do earlier at like 8 if I'm having stressful situations going on. I find it super helpful to shut all the screens off because it really powers down my mind. It helps me sleep a lot better. You'll notice if you have your phone out in the dark, all of a sudden you're awake again, or if you wake up in the middle of the night and you're checking your text messages, all of a sudden you won't be tired anymore. And it's because those lights from the phones really interfere with your brain and your eyes, and it can kind of mess things up. So I personally find it really helpful to just power down my screens, relax my mind, so I can have a great night's sleep every night. Anyways, I hope that you guys liked this video, and I hope it helped you. Maybe you got some awesome tips, or if you have any additional ones, leave them below. We can all help each other out here. Don't forget to give me a thumbs up and subscribe below, and I'll be seeing you again very soon. Bye!